I'm Ryan Maliar, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Arts for the Masses. The arts are alive in Massachusetts, and I am so delighted to be able to bring them right into your home to feature all the amazing things that are happening all across Massachusetts and maybe right in your own backyard. Today, I'm excited to have a whole bunch of the team that's putting together a musical called Connected. And we have a really special connection with Connected here because the creator of the show, Catherine Denny, is actually a Marlborough resident. And we're filming this production right here at WMCT TV in the heart of downtown Marlborough. I'd like to welcome our first two guests to the show. We have two others that'll be joining us for the second part. We have Mike and Izzy. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, Mike, you're the director of this production. Tell me a little bit about what this new show is all about. Of course, I saw it in an earlier form, and I'm just wondering if it's grown since then. So fill me in.
So it's changed slightly from the original, but for the most part, the context of the show is the exact same. So it's about a figure skater that finds out throughout the course of the show and goes through the process of as well. Finds out that they're transgender. They have a support system online as well as in person. The whole show is literally about being interconnected online and in person. So you have the online aspect of it, but you also have the interconnection between the characters in their own lives as well, played out on stage. Now, Izzy over here plays one of the main characters, Liz, who is going through her own life struggles, but her friend is the one that's transgendered. She helps them go through the process of understanding themselves better, even though she's going through her own life situations as well. I'll transition.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about this character. And you said that you connect to this character in a lot of different ways. Tell me about that.
So Liz Robbins, she's kind of a little bit of everywhere. She's supportive of Gabriel, the person who is transitioning, but she also has a lot of anxiety problems. And as someone who also deals with anxiety and panic attacks, I connect to her a lot. And she kind of processes things a little differently. She, again, is supportive, but sometimes it takes her a little longer. It takes her a little bit to fully understand what Gabriel is going through. But she eventually is, number one supporter. And you see her go through all these emotions, whether it be a panic attack or she's excited, but at the end you see her, really blossom alongside Gabriel.
Yeah. There's a huge variety of different types of music in the show, and there are a lot of songs in this piece as well. You're choreographing it as well?
I'm the dance captain.
Oh, the dance captain. Excellent. How's all the dancing coming along?
It's a lot of fun. We've been working on dancing since the beginning, and it's fun to see everyone's different abilities and what people are good at and try and incorporate all of it to make sure everyone's having a good time.
Yeah. With a show like this that's very specific in its casting of transgender people and people going through very interesting transformations. How does the cast reflect these characters? Did you try to cast it as authentically as possible?
Yes. So my main objective was to make sure that the point of the show was made, but I wanted people that have experienced what's going on in the show to be portrayed in the show as well, not just haphazard actors that are just available and can be anybody. So in casting, there was quite a bit of talent that came through, but in the end, I wanted to make sure that people have been there, done that, felt it, understand it completely before they've even taken on the role. So most of the characters actually have gone through, like myself, I'm gay, but I also consider myself on the spectrum of transgender. I just won't go through the process of transitioning. There's a difference between that and the people that are actually portraying the roles in the show that are transgendered and are playing transgendered characters. That's way different. I wouldn't take on the role like that myself because I don't understand that fully. So that I left that in the court of those that are in that in that life and understand what that whole situation is.
Let's follow up there. What's it like directing then a piece where there are some intricacies of these transitions and this deep matter that you can't entirely relate to? Do you rely on the actors to inform you?
Yes.
Yes.
So that would be in that
Collaboration.
Collaboration would be
love that.
key. So it's almost like a workshop process for a new show in general, but for this, it was more back and forth banter between myself and the actors as to how they felt their character would handle this scenario or what they would say even. Some of the lines that were scripted were changed slightly or completely for that one line to be more meaningful or hit the point that we were trying to get across better based on that actor's understanding of what they're trying to get across. Between Liz's character having some lines that just didn't jive, so we're adjusted to make them come out easier. But from that to Amber's lines that needed to be worded better in order for her to get her point across. So there was a lot of back and forth between the writer and the actors and
that's
myself.
good. So Catherine has been collaborative too,
Absolutely.
and I know just speaking with her, she just wants the best for this piece. She's so passionate about it. So that's awesome to hear that it's continuing to evolve as you work on it. There are a lot of other different issues here, and when I read it, it seems very heavy. But somehow, in the context of the show and the flow of it, there is still lightness and there is still hope. We're dealing with a young person realizing his true gender identity, but we're also dealing with there's a wife who has the courage to leave an abusive marriage, mental health issues like you had mentioned earlier, and then also just the navigation of being in the present and navigating social media and bullying, period, online and in person. How do you find the lightness and the balance in the piece?
Well, lots of the songs bring that aspect into the picture because they're more lighthearted and fun. So they're easier, especially with the actors doing the roles. Their voices bring the characters more to life. So obviously, when they're singing, lots of these characters are like powerhouses on stage, both vocally, danceability wise, like this one. As well as vocally, as well as acting wise, they bring something to the table that isn't there with your normal cookie cutter actor that can just fill a role. Yeah. So
this is my first time bringing on folks from Dramatically Incorrect. Have both of you worked with this company before, and how did you find this yourself in the director chair? Have you directed with this group before?
So this is my second show directing with Dramatically Incorrect. My first was You Can't Take It With You. So
a classic.
I was going to say, I took on a classic at first and a play. Never directed a musical in my life before.
And these are both plays. Even the play has a big cast, and now you're dealing with another big cast here,
It's a whole other process.
Yeah.
But yeah, even I'm like, okay, I can handle a big cast. Now, can I handle a big cast with a musical? Yes, but it's also a collaborative effort with the actors. So my style of directing is different from other styles of other directors in that I like to just get the blocking done, get it over with, so that people know where they're going in the scheme of the show from day one, or as close to day one as possible. That happened with this show and then some. So everybody has kind of taken on character development on their own, but also in rehearsal. And it's turned into quite an amazing show because of the cast and from my minute directing, as far as I'm concerned, in the grand scheme of the whole process.
Were you an actor first?
I started at
A theater person? A
theater
techie?
person in general.
Yes.
So, yes. So I've been on stage since I was 5. I have been backstage building sets and so on, like the tech side of stuff, since probably about then also. I was super into, how's that work? How's that work?
Yeah.
What's this do? How's this thing look like this? So everything it was like super technical. And I guess my style, I'm on the spectrum too, but that's like a whole minor part of myself. But that's the whole, like Yeah, sorry.
That's
I
the
lost
gist
it.
of
The
where you
gist of
come
it,
from.
exactly.
And how about you? Have you done performances with Dramatically Incorrect before?
This will be my third.
Okay.
My first was when we did Heather's earlier this year as Heather McNamara. Then we just did Seussical, where I was Maisie LeBird.
Amazing,
And,
Maisie.
Yep. And now this is my third as Liz, and I love this company a lot. They're pretty wonderful.
Tell us about your performing background, and did you start at a very young age, or are you studying this? I don't know how old you are in college, or what, tell me.
So my career is going to be criminal justice, and I'm 20. But on the side, this is what I do. This is what I really love. I always say to people, like, criminal justice brings in the money, but this is like my passion that I really want to pursue. And I've done shows a long time. I think the first show I ever did was in 4th grade called The Patriotic Play, where I was just a colonial woman. And I've done dance for 10 years, acting for a while, and it's just a big passion and something that I have a lot of fun doing. And as someone who suffers with a disability, doing it kind of, when you're as someone who, deals with a lot of chronic pain, doing it and having such a passion for it takes all that pain away in the moment. And it's pretty great.
It's an escape.
Yeah.
And something I perform professionally, and now I'm, you find different stages in life, but something I've been telling young people recently is that you will always find a home in the theater.
Mhm.
It is just the most
Absolutely.
welcoming place, whether it's professional theater or community theater or your high school show that you were doing. You managed to find a really special group of people that just get you and are usually very welcoming. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yes, excellent. I'm so excited to meet some more players and this upcoming production of Connected. So don't leave. We'll be right back with a few new actors. And we're back. We're continuing this interview with the cast of Connected, a new musical about finding your identity in a changing world. It's coming up at Dramatically Incorrect Theater Company. It's playing June 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. You're not going to want to miss it. This is a fantastic new musical that's really dealing with a lot of contemporary, relevant themes that have to do with right now. And Mike is continuing on with us for a little bit more. And Mike, I'm wondering if you could introduce these new players that we have here. We have Esmeralda and we have Jack. And tell me a little bit about their characters and how they fit into this giant puzzle that is Connected.
Alrighty. Well,
easier said than done.
No, I was going to say, first and foremost, we have Esmeralda, who plays Amber, who is basically, for lack of better terminology, the megastar in Hollywood that just so happens to also be transgendered. And I
love how you phrased that. The megastar in Hollywood who just so happens to be transgendered. Here's someone that's looked at first as being a star, not at their gender identity. We'll get into that a little bit more. And then who do we have over here?
We have Jack, who plays Gabriel. Well, at the beginning of the show, their character is known as Angelina. And then throughout the course of the show, rather quickly, Angelina discovers throughout both online interaction, I should say, in various different chat rooms and things like that, as well as having conversations with Amber Wild at meet and greets and things like that in public, that they are transgendered. And transgendered in the sense that they're actually a man, not non-binary. So at that point, from that very point of self-discovery all the way to the end of the show, there's a transitional period going on from Angelina into Gabriel, both physically in front of you as far as what you see on stage, appearance-wise, as well as inwardly as a person as well.
Right. Jack, I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit more of the journey of discovery that Angelina finds as they become Gabriel in the show, and if there are any connections to you personally.
You know, there actually are some connections between myself and Gabriel's journey.
Because
It's-
figure skater.
Right, yeah.
No, are you for real?
I am a figure skater.
I was joking, but what a coincidence.
That was one of the things that brought me to the show. When I was researching what I wanted to audition for the summer, it was between this one and Marblehead Little Theater's production of Something Rotten. And I was actually just working on Something Rotten at Salem State. So I wanted to get some variety, but the main thing that called me to working with Connected was the fact that this is a show that is so close to my own story. Gabriel's story reflects mine surprisingly closely. I want to say Gabriel's around 16 in our version.
Okay.
They say he's like 14 to 16. I say he's like 16 in ours. I was around 14 when I went through the same journey that Gabriel went through of discovering himself. Except for me, it wasn't browsing 50 pages of Reddit. It was it was other means that introduced me to the person that I am today. But yes, Gabriel's journey does reflect mine a lot, including figure skating.
Now, the last version I saw of the show, there was a really interesting moment where the Angelina Gabriel character had a duet with their future self. Is that still in the show?
Yes.
It was a really special moment where this person who's just beginning to explore being transgender sees someone who has really fully transitioned and is proud and stoic and at home and comfortable in their body. How does that moment play in the production that you're doing?
I was like, I'll take over.
You'll
that
take
for a
it?
bit. So for ours, we'll leave it kind of a surprise, but kind of not, in the sense that for ours, we're having the same actor play both parts. But how we're gonna do that on stage, I'll leave
Okay, the
as like
theater
a,
magic. We're
yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
spoil-
I'll
we're
leave
not
that
gonna
as
spoil.
a theater magic thing for those techies that like to watch and kind of pick things apart and figure out how it works, kind of moment. But yes, we're doing that with the same actor, just played in different ways,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Well, then another question then perhaps is this character deals with so much bullying and so many people that don't believe them and don't want to support their transition. Is there something that you tap into deeply there? I don't want to take you to a dark place, but are there similarities of this character's journey and your own journey in that regard?
In a way, I wasn't actually bullied as much as many people were, so I was personally lucky in that sense. I had a pretty supportive environment growing up, especially with the school that I went to. I'm very happy to say that Massachusetts is a very comfortable place for trans people. But when it comes to channeling those feelings that are associated with being bullied, when it comes to those feelings that are associated with being bullied, the place that I like to pull from there is the fact that I am farther along in my transition than Gabriel is at this point in my life. So I've kind of had the time to become a lot more comfortable with myself and my sense of self and what people think of me, and just understanding, yeah, some people are not going to be very nice about it. But when it comes to pulling from that deep feeling, there is still always going to be that little voice in the back of your head that is going to be telling you everything that is not something that you should be telling yourself. And it's telling you all the wrong things. And it's kind of, making you think, oh, you do look like this, or you do sound like that, or whatever. But those anxieties are still there. Just because time has passed and I'm more comfortable with myself doesn't mean that those little voices aren't still kind of there.
We all get those little voices for a million different reasons.
Of course.
Yeah. Let's get over to you, Esmeralda. You've been so patient and quiet over here, but I'm sure on stage you're a real diva. Am I right? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, excellent. So you're playing this diva. She's larger than life character. Do you tap into that at all?
A little bit, I guess.
Yeah?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Something that's interesting is that this big celebrity character, to me, in the context of the show, is willing to respond to fans, is willing to be a mentor almost to different people.
Yeah.
Have you found yourself in that sort of mentorship position?
Yes.
And is it in a theatrical context or in a transgender context?
I guess in a transgender context.
Tell me more
I
about
mean,
that.
I've been transitioning for 7 years now. So like this character being plain Amber Wild, it's like I'm already her, you know? As well as I do have I don't have a large number of following on TikTok, but I do have a big variety. And I do like to bring encouragement to others to make sure, you know, be yourself and everything. So with me playing as Amber and having her being such a great supporter of the LGBTQ, and for me to be just like that as well, I find it very, you know, connected, as we say.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious then, just to speak about your experience, when you do have followers of different ages, maybe younger people that are looking for guidance, how does that impact the type of content that you put on your social media? Do you feel like you censor yourself in different ways, or to be? I'm just curious.
No, I think I don't really censor myself as well. As much. I feel like I want to be open with my whole self. Like, if you want to be yourself, then so be yourself. You know, I do get a lot of people hating on me. You know, sending those comments and all that, but I ignore that. I tell people, just be yourself, just live your life. You know.
Yeah. Tell me about your performing career. Have you done much performing?
No.
No? So how did they find you? How did they
So
find this? How'd you find this talent over here?
Oh my Lanta. So that was a whole other ball game. I'm like, also another connected moment.
Yeah.
So dramatically incorrect, to not to basically segue back to what I was talking about before, but I've been with Dramatically Incorrect for 5 years, but on the tech side. So I build every set. I'm not really a director. I'm usually an actor. But basically back to this question, we're connected in the sense that every show for the longest time, we go to Chili's. And this one is the bartender that literally is everybody, like, is Amber Wild, but in bartender style, sitting here solving everyone's problems, empathizing with the whole entire universe, and getting a point across that transgendered women or people in general, men, women, doesn't matter, are valid, are real, and are here. Doesn't matter what anyone has to say. They are legit individuals that serve a purpose, and it's a higher power. It's a higher purpose than most, as far as I'm concerned.
Wow.
Yeah, so I just pretty much met them through work.
And they said, "We're doing this show, and you're perfect, and we need you
Yeah.
so bad. We need you to do it. We need you to do it right."
Yeah, he actually messaged me one day. I think it was like right
Before auditions or something. I'm like,
he's
she's
like,
probably auditioned in case.
This is so out of the blue, but do you mind like being this character? I want to be authentic as I can be. And I'm like, you know what? I do want to do something different. I want to try something new. I just work all the time. I don't do much with my life. So, you know what? Let me give this a try.
Well, good for you, embracing this challenge.
Yes.
And with all the challenges you've already dealt with in life, here's another one that you can add to the checklist.
Yes.
And what a proud moment that will be, and pride in every single context.
Yes,
You know,
I'm having so much fun with this.
yeah. There's, I think the big number or the logo for the show is "Bursting with Pride." Is that from a lyric in a song, or
That is the name of the song, actually.
That is the
So
song.
yes, so that is for lack of better terminology, there's like a pride event that happens within the show. So there's all sorts of different things that are tackled within one show. But there's this one song that we have for Pride that is basically helping both Gabriel's character and, at this point in the show, another person's character that is coming out as non-binary, that's trying to figure themselves out, who in turn Gabriel turns into the moral support that Amber was for him too at that point. I'm like, if I can word that properly, goodness.
Wow. I wanted to spend just another moment with Jack, because I feel like we didn't get to spend enough time chatting. And just if you could tell me a little bit more about your theater background. Were you pursuing theater at Salem State?
I am. I'm actually
Oh.
still a student. I am anticipating graduating in 2027 with 3 majors in
3 majors.
theater performance and contemporary modern dance, as well as music and voice.
Excellent. Any favorite roles that you've tackled in the past?
there's something that doesn't quite beat your first role ever.
Okay.
And for me, it was in Shrek the Musical at Lowell High School. It was wonderful. I had such a blast, and I think it's such a whimsical show, too. I
Right.
played the captain of the guard. The costume that I wore that time was really cool. It was one of the old, I think it was a show choir costume or something, and it was black and had these blue sequins all over it, and I had a cape, and I felt very dramatic.
Excellent. Now, you had said earlier that you were thinking of doing a show in Marblehead, and then Lowell is way up here. How far are you willing to travel to do a show? Do you live more up in the Lowell area, or where?
I live in Salem.
Oh, okay.
I still live on campus.
Wow, wow. So that's quite a hike for you to do this production, no?
Well, this production means a lot to me. Plus, I'm from Lowell, so I come here from time to time anyway. My best friend lives around here, well, around in Lowell, not here in
Yeah.
Monroe. But she comes up to visit me a lot, and so she figures, if I'm coming up, might as well bring you with me. Might as well take you to rehearsal. Might as well come see all 3 of your shows.
You got a big fan club then. That's excellent.
I've got a lot of people who support me.
That's wonderful. One other little bug in my ear is telling me that beyond the human actors on stage, there's also a special appearance from a small furry performer.
Friend. Yes. So in the show, their name is Star Master. I didn't want to say Stairmaster, 80s moment. But yeah, no, Star Master is the name of the dog in the show. But actually, the person that we talked to earlier, Liz, in the show, it's their actual dog, Perry, in reality. So that's kind of cool. We like to do a lot of that stuff in Dramatically Incorrect, though. I have 3 service dogs for various reasons. I have like seizures and that kind of weird stuff. So yeah, I have 3 service dogs, me and my partner, and they have been in quite a few of our shows at this point for various reasons, whether they just can't stay off the set. And they made it into my oldest dog, basically, not to transition into some other conversation, but my oldest dog takes over. So he makes his own blocking. He finds a way that every rehearsal to do the exact same thing. So if it's blocked out, dude, go with it. Is how I feel. So they've been in a few different shows, but at this point, we're trying to allow some of our actors to bring their dogs into the equation as well.
Excellent. So this show seems like it has a little bit of everything, including pets.
Yes,
Right.
it's all connected.
It's all connected. So once again, we have Connected the Musical, a new musical about finding your identity in a changing world, playing at Dramatically Incorrect Theater. It's a special piece. It's a new piece. We have authentic, wonderful casting here. And if you know someone that is transitioning or someone that is exploring their identity, what a fantastic, fabulous opportunity to take them to a performing space where they can see themselves reflected up on stage in so many different ways. This is really going to be a very, very special theatrical production. And thank you all so much, you two, for coming in and joining me today on Arts for the Masses. I'm Ryan Maliar, and thanks for watching.